Hello and welcome to Royal Challenge Sports Drink presents ESPNcricinfo Breaking Stereotypes. I am Raunak Kapoor. On a very special show, I've got former India cricketer Snehal Pradhan sandwiched between two of our finest writers in senior editor Sharda Ogra. Good to have you, Sharda.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here.
I know, and normally when we invite you on panel shows, it's not to say good things, but this is going to be a rare difference for you. And sub-editor Anisha Ghosh as well, who very closely follows women's cricket. And we'd love to share with you now that Royal Challenge Sports Drink is hosting India's first mixed gender T20 match. And that raises eyebrows. We're trying to figure what is this match, what could it be, what could it be like. Mixed gender cricket is not something that's very unknown to you, Snehal.
It's not, because as an upcoming cricketer, there aren't a lot of girls, there aren't a lot of girls teams. So we routinely played with the boys. So I've played so many tournaments where I'm the only girl and we have 10 other boys playing. It's something that you see at the grassroots level a lot, but we don't see at the top level at all. There are of course reasons you have to be a little careful when you're setting up a mixed gender thing, but so many obvious advantages.
Does it still happen? Would it still happen amongst the current cricketers that they play their age group cricket against the boys?
Absolutely. Like 3 or 4 years ago, I was playing cricket with Smriti Mandana and we were preparing for a tournament, and the two of us were the only girls in a boys team playing against a team filled entirely with boys. So it still very much happens. It's great preparation because even when as senior cricketers you're playing against under 16, under 19 boys, it gives a matching skill level which then we can take into our domestic and international competitions.
For all the exhibition matches that cricket has these days to try and promote either itself, you've got former players with one foot in the grave still wanting to play. But this top flight Indian women's and men's cricketers playing a game together can only be a good thing for the game.
Absolutely. I think because it's immediate, it draws your attention instantly. You want to know what's happened, who's going to be playing, what is the format. We're not sure of what that will be and how it will work. But it's a great idea. Wherever this is thought through, and the advertisement that went out in social media, a little bit on television as well, you're immediately hooked to it. And if anything can be done to get an interest in women's cricket and to be able to showcase their skills, I say go for it. Figure out a way to do it and go for it.
And this is a very good time for women's cricket, isn't it, Anisha?
Certainly, because a slew of women's exhibition matches are going to be held, and considering these women's cricketers, these India women's cricketers are brands in their own right at this point in time. So I think the amalgamation of some of the best talents from the women's game as well as from the men's game would make for a great viewing, both on television and at the stadium.
I know what you said. Yes, Nehal.
The potential of having a highlights package where Harmanpreet Kaur is hitting one of the top flight male cricketers for 6 is just immense, and I think that is something that could be remembered a decade later or so.
I love that, because the game Harmanpreet Kaur has, you won't put it beyond her to hit the very best in men's cricket also. And the other way around, there are enough men that don't have the answer to Virat Kohli. So obviously, let's expand it. Let's expand the net a little bit and
get him and get the women spinners in. The ones like let's see what happens if that's possible.
The other lovely part of how these have become names that are part of cricketing vocabulary now, the likes of Poonam Yadav. Forget Mithali Raj, Harmanpreet Kaur, Jhulan Goswami. I think those have been established names for a while now. But now, after the success women's cricket has had, you've got the likes of Jemima, you've got Poonam Yadav, all again part of cricketing vocabulary. Let's talk a little bit about the achievement of women's cricket last few years.
I've got let me ask you questions here, Raunak.
Are you sure you want to do the typical journalist? Anyway, yes.
When was the first Cricket World Cup held?
The Men's Cricket World Cup, yes, was held in 1975.
The first Cricket World Cup, period, cross gender, 1973. 1973, the women had the first World Cup. And you've got a whole lot of stats like this that go down the line. You just have to look and you'll see that the women's game was taken steps a little bit ahead of the men. The first World Cup held in India was when?
In 87.
No, it was 1978. It was the second Women's World Cup. So then you go on like this. The first ODI double century, we'll all say Tendulkar February 2010.
Yes.
No, Belinda Clark in 1997. So I rest my case.
The first T20 international was played between Australia and England, women, before the men.
And for all the T20I wickets that a certain Shahid Afridi is known for, the first person to take 100 T20I wickets was none other than West Indian off-spinner Anisa Mohammed.
I'm taking notes now because I'm being absolutely schooled, but I'm actually liking this because it's almost like there's been so much more women's cricket that we have been blind to or one-eyed to because of the profile of the men's game. So let's be fair.
Can I give you one more?
Yeah, please give me more.
The fastest world T20 century. You would
it has
say
to be Chris Gayle.
No, it's not. It's Deandra Doughton at 38 balls in 2010 versus South Africa, 9 sixes and 5 fours.
I was close because I got the right
country.
the right six. Yes,
And Gayle,
that's as close as I would get.
Yeah.
And with specific regard to Indian cricket, the last couple of years have been very good, haven't they, Snail?
It's been massive. I mean, 2017 was a watershed moment to have the Indian team beat Australia like they did in that semi-final. That Harmanpreet Kaur that innings is going to be talked about for the next 20 years at least. Forever, essentially. And almost you might say that, short of winning the World Cup, the way they lost the World Cup, just falling short in that final, could have been the best thing that happened for women's cricket in India, because it didn't show that India are world champions. It showed that there is still work to be done, but it showed the amount of talent that they have, and now that talent is getting an audience over the last couple of years.
And I think we all like the underdog story in sport, right? I mean, for us cricket writers, sport writers, it's one of the things we aspire to write about. So going into that tournament, I mean, nobody quite was willing to bet their money on the Indian women's cricket team. And hey, at the very first game, a certain Smriti Mandhana scored the 90 odd runs, and well, we also had contributions from Deepti Sharma, another young talent who has been doing consistently well for the side. So that was a breakout tournament for the Indian women's cricket team. And then, of course, 20th July 2017, Harmanpreet Kaur 171 not out.
Yeah, to be fair, we followed so many years of men's cricket, just getting our expectations high and then dipping it, that we could go the other way around. With no expectations, gone high, all right, a little dip, but we're still expecting great things from women's cricket. And it's important that success at the highest level is somewhat maintained, isn't it, Sharda? Because there is a huge responsibility on the players, current players, to make sure that this buzz stays alive and doesn't fizzle out.
Yeah, and you need to have this current generation of players can be literally the breakout generation, as they've said. A very interesting figure was said to me. This was about, say, maybe 10 years ago. So those numbers could have changed. This is pre-2020 mania days. What television producers were happy with was sort of a 55-45 success win-loss ratio for an Indian team was fine.
Okay.
And I think the men are much better now in that regard. The win-loss ratio is huge. And for the women's team, they need to sort of aim to get more than that, because they've got you into a World Cup final and they've got attention and grabbed it and said, yes, let's do this. International success is important because then the spin-offs that come from it are huge. It happens in every sport. If you have the women's hockey team doing well, if you've got the women's badminton players, you see them succeed and it's like the men are trying to catch up. Yeah. So international success is a big thing, and that's the standard that the women's team has to sort of set for themselves, to be able to be maybe not the world champion, but always be contending. You be world champions, fantastic. But if you're not there yet, then make sure that you're pushing at the door.
And you have the belief, Snehal, in this current crop of top level cricketers, the current main Indian women's squad, that they could become, like Sharda said, the gang, the couple, they've equivalent of making Indians believe that success is possible at the highest level for women's cricket.
Mithali Raj, highest run getter in the world in ODIs. Jhulan Goswami, highest wicket taker in the world in ODIs. Smriti Mandhana, top player of 2018. We have the talent. There is absolutely no doubt about that. It's just a matter of, I suppose, the system coming up to support this national team, and that's why I'm so excited that something like this is happening, which could give a boost again to that grassroots cricket and therefore have a positive effect on the top level.
Okay, so there is so much talent. It seems like it's a great sort of time for Indian women's cricket. What more can we do now? How can cricket make sure that this promise is maintained? And I think the immediate parallel will be drawn to what have we done with men's cricket? What can we learn from that? And how can we now implement it to ensure that we have a sustainable, successful period for Indian women's cricket? Anisha, if we compare with men's cricket though, there are still different aspects. One is the serious difference in pay, in viewership, visibility, etc. What's the solution to that for now?
So for instance, at the Ranji level for first-class male cricketers, they get about $35,000 for a day. For women, it is only $12,500 for a one-day game. Yes, there are pay disparities that exist and perhaps need to be addressed, but let's give it to the boards, to the governing bodies, who are trying to make sure that the graph is always on the up. and in terms of making these matches visible, being broadcast.
If you speak to a lot of women cricketers, I don't know if Snehal will agree with me. They say, listen, we are not asking for a 7 crore rupee Class A contract at the moment. We know where our sport is. We know how we have to develop, but we would like to have a reasonable sort of, upgradation in what we earn.
Let's hear
So
from
I
Snehal.
agree 100%. I mean, if Mithali Raj earns 50 lakhs and Virat Kohli earns 7 crore, that's okay with me. I would like the gap in between. If you want to fund that, fund domestic cricket. Indian cricket doesn't run on contracts at the state level. Indian cricket runs on jobs, government jobs, private sector jobs, which are sports quota jobs. Open more and more of those jobs for female cricketers, and you will see the strength of the domestic system rising.
This leads us straight into our next point, which is a women's league, a top flight women's league. Is the time right for it now? Why can't we have it right away? What are the challenges and how do we overcome them? Let's also add to that there are big partners at play, stakeholders at play. We need the investment, need the media, need the authorities to back it. So let's jump into it. Is the time right now for a women's league, a top flight women's league? Snehal?
Yes, go for it, absolutely. You might want to take baby steps, and for this I draw from other leagues around the world. It has to be done respectfully. We definitely have enough talent for a 4-team league with overseas players. It will be a tremendous success.
Okay.
Go for it.
And another thing, you know, that Indian football, for example, they did have an Indian women's league, which is they had 7 teams to start out with. They had 7 teams in the first year to start out with, and they're asking the current clubs that are there in one of the leagues is that, listen, can you support a women's team? You can make it work. You can make it work and then create this ripple effect across at the grassroots level.
We've already seen there is evidence of a successful league in the form of the Women's Big Bash League. I read somewhere the attendance was record-breaking in recent times.
Absolutely. I mean, the 2 semi-finals that we saw in Women's Big Bash League Season 4 were terrific as far as the quality of cricket is concerned, the stadium attendance and of course the viewership numbers. I think this is the right time, as Snehal rightly mentioned, for the boards and the governing bodies to make sure that there is a push to move beyond exhibition games, which is great. There was this one-off exhibition game that took place last time. This time around we are going to have 3 or 4. So credit and kudos to the governing bodies and the boards for making sure that there is an improvement on that. But hey, this is the right time to capitalize on these brands that these women's cricketers stand for. Harmanpreet Kaur, Smriti Mandhana, Mithali Raj. Look at their social media following, for God's sake. They run into millions on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Sure. So why not tap into all of that? I mean,
we need more superstars. We already have a good number, but we can make more of them. And some of them went and played in that Women's Big Bash League. So Indians are featuring in these overseas leagues too. How best can this league, if it has to come up, happen?
Cricket for women isn't as jam-packed as it is for men. So there are windows. If you try and find that space, you will find the right time to play these games.
Do you think that's the way to go forward?
Yeah, you know, and also another thing is where are you going to hold it? What venues are you going to hold it? So if you decide to hold it at a smaller ground, at boutique grounds, or little tinier grounds, say maybe in Wayanad even, you know, beautiful locations, makes for great television, Dharamshala, the most beautiful ground in the world, makes for, you know, the most scenic ground in the world. And of these smaller grounds, you'll fill the stadium.
Yeah.
There was a point in time where in the 70s, when Diana Edalji and Shantaragam Swami were playing, they would travel out into Kanpur and into the tier 2 towns, what are called now, and fill the stadium. So you want to get that kind of interest back again. Whatever the reasons why they filled the stadium. On television, filled stadiums are the best things. That's what you need to do. Whether it's, you know,
3,000 or 30,000 is almost irrelevant to the visual appeal of the game.
And now, since there is an interest, and these are known, you know, there was a point in time, because I'm from the generation where you remember seeing photographs of women's cricket in the sports pages. They had vanished for, I think, about 10-15 years. They were not there in the papers. So this is the time that you can actually literally catapult it. And a very interesting point had come up once, that when these contracts are being handed out, you know, broadcasting, you're handing out rights contracts and so on, make the women's game compulsory in that. So along with you, this is part of your bundle.
That's a responsibility that the administration needs to have.
This is part of the bundle. This is what you have to do.
Thumbs up from Anisha, Snehal and Sharada. The time is right now, and we certainly think so. Now, what about you guys? It's time for you to have your say. Vote at rcchallengeaccepted.com. Here's more.
That day is coming. Get ready. Get some new chance, because you're getting some new stars. Make room in the dressing room. Make space in your mind, because the day is coming. Maybe we'll get hit in the face, maybe we'll lose face, or maybe not. We're not here to win. We are here to begin. And it's true, today men and women don't share the field. But who knows about tomorrow? Because if the world needs to get equal, the bold need to get started. Everyone says this is a huge challenge. Of course it is. But you know what we say? Challenge accepted.
Can't wait. This looks absolutely brilliant. Thank you very much, Sharda Ogra. All set for this then? The first mixed gender match. We'll be taking tickets for it, I'm sure.
I can't wait. Would love to watch.
Snail,
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it.
Anisha.
Absolutely. So it's going to be a bit of a game changer in its own right. So yeah, looking forward to it.
Well, we have no doubt that this will be a game changer. Cricket's first mixed gender match by Royal Challenge. Many thanks to Anisha Ghosh as well as Snail Pradhan and Sharda Ogra for their time and their thoughts. This was a Royal Challenge Sports Drink presents ESPN Cricinfo, breaking stereotypes.
Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and leave your comments in the comment section below. Click on the bell icon for notifications.